Hello, it's Phil here for digitaldjtips.com with a look at the Denon DN-SC2000 and the Traktor Kontrol X1 DJ control interfaces. And the purpose of this video and the accompanying review on the Digital DJ Tips blog, which you'll be able to see the address for right at the end of the video, is to compare and contrast the two units because they're both on the face of it quite similar. Both do similar things, they're both runaway successes, and people often ask on the blog which is the best, which they should choose and what they're used for, where their strengths and their weaknesses are. So I thought we'd have a look at the two units and find out. So we'll start off by asking what they are. I've got them both here. So this is the Denon unit, the DN-SC2000, and this is the Traktor Kontrol X1. They are, as you can see, they're both small, and although they're different shaped, they are compact units, and they are both designed to control two decks of your DJ software. So they will give you control over the transport, the looping, the effects, and the browser controls, and sync, and so on, of two decks on your software. Now the software is slightly different that they can work with and so on, we'll get to that in a little while. What they haven't got is any audio interfaces. There's no headphone socket on the front of either of them, and around the back there is only a USB in or a USB out cable. So they are not designed to produce or control your computer's sound. You will need a sound interface or a sound card or an audio interface, whatever you want to call it, to use two channels on either of these. So they are interfaces, not controllers in that respect. Okay, let's start with the Denon DN-SC2000. This is a typically well-built unit. Denon is known for its build quality. It's heavier than it looks. You can see it's very thin and small, but it's quite heavy. It's got a solid steel case, and it's got a fantastic jog wheel, really nice long throw pitch fader. All the buttons and knobs are great. You know, it's a well-built unit. It works, although it's only got one jog wheel and it can control two decks. That works by pressing a deck change button, and then this centre panel goes from red to blue to show you which deck you're controlling. So all the controls, most of the controls are doubled up so that they can work with both of the decks that the unit will control. Now you will probably immediately think that doesn't sound too straightforward. In reality, it's reasonably easy to use. There's certain things you can't do. You can't have your hand on two filter controls, for instance, one for each deck, doing your trickery, because obviously you're going to be controlling one deck or the other. However, you are getting the ability to control two decks with one jog wheel, one fader and one set of rotaries, and so on. So that's kind of a plus and a minus, more like a feature. Also on a lot of DJ controllers they have the same kind of doubling up, layering, so that you can control four decks with two jog wheels. So this works with Virtual DJ. It also works with Traktor Pro, and it also is being bundled at the moment, as I speak, in Europe with MixVibes Cross. You can actually buy the unit in a special package with a version of MixVibes Cross LE in there, which is quite a cheap way of getting into DJing because you get the software and the unit, you can just get it all up and running, and it's at quite a competitive price. We'll link to that from the article that goes with this video so that you can have a look at that. So that's the Denon unit. Let's now move on to the Traktor Kontrol X1. This is also a well-built unit. It's very sturdy, it's got nice feet, it's made out of plastic, so it's a lot lighter than this. However, its build quality is fine. It's got a metal plate on the top, and the advantage of being made the way it is it's lighter. It is, as you can see, a different shape. It's very, very slim. It's the same depth, but it's very slim and longer than the Traktor unit. It sits very nicely alongside a record deck, or between a record deck and a mixer. We'll get onto that shortly. This is different to the Denon unit because if you drew a line down the middle, it has independent control of both of your decks. That means that you have one control for everything on each deck, and you can use them all simultaneously. Now you don't get the ease of use of a jog wheel and the pitch fader and the spacing of having everything nicely spaced. You know, the play and the sink and the cue are small down here for each deck. There's no jog wheel, obviously. You have to use shift to use the bends and the tempo changes. So it's not as intuitive, if you like, as this for all the transport controls that you would be used to on a deck or a jog wheel. However, you get that advantage of having two complete decks in one unit. So there's no switching, it's all independent. This unit, software-wise, obviously it works with Traktor Pro and Traktor Scratch Pro 2, and it also works with Serato Scratch. This one here doesn't, so this is good if you're a Serato Scratch DJ wanting this kind of control. And we're going to get onto that now, because you've probably realised that these are both units that don't have a mixer, and these are designed to be used with an external mixer and a sound device. Now you don't have to do that, you can plug them straight into your DJ software, and you can use them using your mouse and keyboard to control the mixer functions, and just using these for the transport functions. They're a good way of getting into DJing in that way. We'll get onto that again in a second. But they have all the controls you expect, minus the mixer. And that kind of makes sense, especially with this unit, when you think about why it came onto the market. Now this unit was originally designed to control Traktor Scratch Pro and now Traktor Scratch Pro 2. Traktor Scratch is a DVS, digital vinyl system. Digital vinyl is where you have two pieces of control vinyl with a control code on them, and your software that can work with that, and with a special sound card that tells the software what you're doing with the vinyl. So effectively you're using your normal DJ setup with your two Technics or your two turntables and your mixer with a bit of added hardware to allow you to play laptop tunes. I'm sure you all have heard about DVS, but just going to put that in there for those of you who haven't. Now the trouble with that system is that there's lots of stuff you can do with the software that you can't do with a mixer and two turntables, or the cueing, the looping and the effects and the syncing and so on. There's no controls for that on a traditional setup, so DJs had to reach for the computer to do all those things. Now this unit came onto the market and put all the controls that aren't on your deck and your mixer into here. So you tug that down there, you put that between your mixer and one of your decks, and all of a sudden your mixer is effectively a bit wider, but it's got all the controls on there. So you're now DJing completely from your DJ setup, just glancing at your laptop every now and then. That's when this originally came onto the market. But DJs very quickly worked out that, you know, you can control everything on here apart from the mixer anyway. And a lot of DJs, a lot of electronic dance music DJs, a lot of DJs who tightly beat grid their tunes and don't really need the jog wheel functions in order to keep stuff in sync, kind of realise that these are great because you can do everything that you want to do as that kind of DJ without the need for something with a jog wheel on it. And that gives you extra space for the independent controls, for instance, that we talked about a little bit earlier. So this one will fit well into a DJ box. If you're a DJ turning up to play somewhere and set up your DVS system, you only need that amount of space. You need to shove the mixer or one of the turntables up a bit and push that in, and then set your laptop and your sound card up, and then you've got everything you need without really taking up too much extra room. Now of course this is small as well and will fit into DJ boxes, but that probably won't tuck alongside a mixer quite as easily. So let's compare and contrast now that we've seen what they do. The Denon is going to be good for you if you like jog wheels, if you're kind of DJ who's coming from an analog background and you like to use a controller with jog wheels. This is going to be immediately recognisable. You know, it looks like a normal controller with the second half and the mixer chopped off, which is exactly what it is. And it's going to be good for you if you don't want to say goodbye to the jog wheels, but you want to move to digital. And if you want to build up a modular system, if you want to build up a system slowly, whether it's because of money, because you can't afford to have a pro system straight away, or just because you like the functionality on independent items. You might like a particular mixer, you might like to have one of these and a box of buttons or whatever. You might have an idea in your head that no controller on its own can give you. you know, that's going to be useful to you building up that kind of system. And also, if you just want to add digital to an existing analog system, you know, you've already got a 4-channel mixer and a couple of CDJs or a couple of record decks, and you don't really want to stop playing records or CDs, but you want to add a laptop and some digital. Well, this is going to give you that. It's going to give you your extra jog wheel to control your digital. You've got 2 decks because you can switch between them, so you can control 2 decks of digital easily, plug them into 2 spare channels on your mixer, and now you've got a really big flexible digital DJing system, and you've effectively got 3 turntables because you've got this one as well as your 2 CDJs or your 2 Technics or whatever brand of turntable you have. So that's good for that as well. Also, this is good if you have an existing 2-deck controller controlling DJ software that maybe has 4 decks built into it, and you want to add functionality for those 4 decks in much the same way as I've just described for analog. It can liberate your 2 extra decks from your DJ controller and give you an extra jog to boot. So that's the Denon unit. The advantage with both of these is that they are modular, as I suggested, so that you can plug them both into existing systems, you can plug them into mixers. I have a digital mixer here. This is the DJ Tech X10 digital mixer. It's like a modern version. DJs always used to have a 2-channel mixer knocking round. You know, 2-channel mixers are so useful for all kinds of stuff. And every DJ used to have a 2-channel mixer at the bottom of his DJ bag or in a cupboard just to liberate and take to parties or use when you want to add something to a DJ setup for a special night or whatever. This is kind of the modern version of that. I really like this mixer. We'll have a review of this soon on the blog and on this channel. But for instance, you can add this. Now this has got a built-in sound card. It's also got a built-in USB hub on the back. So you can put that there. Arguably you could do it with exactly what I have here. You could plug the Denon into the back of there, the X10 into the back of there, or of course 2 X10s or 2 Denons, and then 1 output from here to your laptop, and plug your speakers in the back of here. There's a headphone socket in the front, and there's your digital DJ setup. And you have a proper mixer, and some people are going to really like that idea. So you can set both of these up in a modular way using a digital mixer or using a normal mixer and a sound card, of course. And then the choice is really whether you want the jog wheels or not, and whether you are playing the kind of music that you're more likely to want to manually adjust. If you are, the Denon is probably the unit for you, but if you're an electronic dance music fan, always playing in cramped DJ boxes, and you really don't care for jogs, you just want something minimal and small, then one of these will do. Hey, there's a lot of DJs even using 2 of these. They flight case them in those little fabric bags, they turn up with 2 of these, the sound card, and a small laptop, and they can do a lot of 4-deck looping and goodness with what is really a very small setup, taking less than half the space of a Control S4, for instance. So there they are. I hope I've managed to show you some of the differences between these 2 units. They're both runaway successes in the market. There's a lot of DJs who are enjoying both of these very much. But if you're considering one or the other, you weren't sure what the differences were, I hope I've managed to help you to get a bit clearer. Thanks for watching, and remember to visit the full version of this. The full review and comparison of these 2 is on the blog, and the URL is coming straight after me saying goodbye and see you again soon. Thanks.